We're starting our Duke of Edinburgh bronze expedition in St Margaret's Cliff, which is a village situated on the coast between Deal and Dover. During the Second World War, most of the population of St Margaret's were moved out and military personnel were moved in to protect the coastline using mainly anti-aircraft guns.
East Valley Farm!
Well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you.
We're now in Oxney Bottom Wood, which people have claimed to be the most haunted place in Kent. This is because of the many tales of strange events taking place in Oxney Bottom. The most famous story being the Grey Lady. As you can see, the stories of Oxney Bottom most likely came from the smugglers. I used the woods for their items. They made up stories to scare and keep people away, so their activities remain a secret.
500 more to be the man who walked 5,000 miles before that should do. When I'm walking, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money.
We are now walking through Ripple. Ripple is a small village also known as Ripple Vale. There isn't much known history about Ripple, but it was the birthplace of Sir John French, 1st Earl of Ypres, the commander of the 1st British Expeditionary Force. Sir John French was born in 1852 and served in the Madras War, Second Boer War, World War I and the Anglo-Irish War. His sister Charlotte Despard, the suffragist, was also born in Ripple in 1844.
Go again. Okay, this is Ripple Vale House, which is a Grade 2 listed building and is where previously mentioned Sir John French was born and lived with his family in the 19th century. Sir John French is buried in the churchyard of St Mary the Virgin in Ripple.
When I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you.
We are now in Kingsdown, which is our last stop today. Kingsdown is a village just south of Walmer. It was originally a small hamlet which was used inland areas for farming, and then expanded into the village in the 19th century as a fishing committee. In 1926, the first woman to swim the English Channel, 19-year-old Gertrude Edel, made landfall at Kingsdale after a 35-mile crossing in a record time.
That was good work there, George. Now, Kingsdown proximity to France meant that it was placed on the front line of several wars. These included wars in Tudor. They included wars in Tudor and Napoleonic times, as well as more recent conflicts. Kingsdown had the important job of being the location for a secret radio transmitting station of oboe, like the instrument, that provided a navigation system designed to help aircraft locate themselves on operations over enemy-occupied territory.
One night, a lady all dressed in grey was killed in an accident with a horse and cart while on her way to fetch water. After dying this horrible death, her soul is not at rest. It is said that a lady dressed in grey sweeps in front of cars at night as they drive into the woods and vanishes into the undergrowth, and the winding roads of Oxney Bottom Wood have been the location of many car accidents. There have also been sightings on several occasions of the Grey Lady boarding a double-decker bus going up the stairs, but when the bus driver goes to collect the fare, she's not there.
Walmer Castle was built during the reign of King Henry VIII and was originally designed as part of a chain of castle artillery defences, and in 1708 it evolved into the official residence of Lord Warden the Cinque Fort.
The defences were never used during the Tudor period and wasn't until 1648 during the English Civil War when the castle came under siege. The three castles of the Downs, Deal, Walmer and Sandon castles were initially held for Parliament, but forces switched alliance to support the Royalist cause. It took parliamentary forces nearly 3 months to defeat the three castles. With Walmer surrounding Perth after a 3-week siege, Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, was a resident at Walmer Castle, and inside the castle you can see an original pair of Wellington boots.
Because things can get much worse. Take a break, take a day to relax, get away to the sunshine.
Deal Castle is one of the three castles of the Downs, built by order of King Henry VIII, and is one of the finest Tudor artillery castles in England. In 1948, during the Civil War, Deal Castle was besieged, but after that, the castle never engaged in any further military action. During the Second World War, from May 1940 until September 1944, the castle was used as a battery observation. The castle has been owned by the English Heritage since 1951.
Behind me is the current Deal Pier, which is the third pier to have built to Pier Deal. The first Deal Pier was built in 1838, but was only half completed due to financial problems, and it washed away in 1857 due to decay.
Wow.
The second was built in 1863 and opened on the 8th of November 1864. On the 29th of January 1940, a ship collided with the pier, destroying 200 feet of ironwork. Winston Churchill gave permission to demolish the pier to allow coastal guns a clear line of sight. In 1954, work on the present pier commenced and was opened on the 19th of November 1857 by the Duke of Edinburgh.
You gotta keep smiling.
Sandown Castle is the third of three castles of the Downs, built by Henry VIII, which were all completed in 1540. Sandown Castle was identical to Walmer Castle, but it had fallen to ruins by the end of the 17th century, and the sea had breached the moat walls by 1785.
Things can't get much worse. Things can't get much worse.
We are now in Worth, a small village situated near Sandwich in Kent. Local legend claims that Henry V, returning from a St Crispin's Day victory at Agincourt, disembarked at Worth and there met and fell in love with the village ale-wife. The story goes that the two lived together for a time at the local inn, which has ever since been known as the St Crispin Inn, where we're finishing today.